Welcome to the channel. Today we're diving into the communication mastery of Jordan Belfort, the infamous Wolf of Wall Street. Known for his ability to persuade and sell like no other, Belfort turned his sales techniques into an empire that eventually crumbled under the weight of fraud. But what made his communication style so powerful, and what can we learn from it today?
I realized what was happening, and I realized in this one moment that I had a certain way of speaking.
Stay with us as we explore the psychology behind Jordan Belfort's legendary rise, fall, and lasting influence in the world of persuasion. Jordan Belfort's communication was rooted in one major trait: confidence. But this wasn't just any kind of confidence. It was infectious. Research in psychology shows that confidence is contagious. When we hear someone speak with certainty, we are more likely to believe them, even if we don't fully understand the details of what they're saying. This is called the confidence heuristic, analysis made by Thomas and McFadyen in 2010. Belfort embodied this perfectly. He would walk into a room and, without saying a word, project an aura of absolute certainty. Whether he was pitching a stock on the phone or motivating his team, his confidence made people trust him. And trust, as we know, is the foundation of successful persuasion. One of the most well-known techniques Belfort used is his straight-line persuasion system. This method is essentially about guiding a conversation along a direct, focused path. In psychological terms, it's related to cognitive framing. How you frame a situation or narrative influences how people perceive it. Belfort would guide potential investors along a straight line from introduction to close, keeping distractions and resistance to a minimum. A resurrect made by Goffman in 1974. He was a master at steering the conversation, making sure that the prospect never strayed too far from his ultimate goal: closing the deal. By maintaining control of the narrative, Belfort made it easier for people to say yes. He created a sense of structure that reassured them, especially in a complex high-stakes environment like stock trading. Now we can dive in the power of reciprocity. Another key technique in Belfort's toolkit was reciprocity, one of the 6 principles of persuasion outlined by Robert Cialdini in 1984. Belfort understood that when you give people something, they feel compelled to give back. Whether it was valuable information, a sense of security, or even small favors, Belfort would make investors feel like they owed him something in return, usually their investment. This taps into an innate human desire to repay favors, a concept deeply rooted in social psychology. Belfort used this to great effect, whether it was during his stockbroker days or later in his motivational speaking career. While words matter, they aren't everything. Research by Albert Mehrabian in 1971 found that only 7% of communication is verbal. The rest is nonverbal. 38% comes from tone of voice and 55% from body language. Belfort excelled at this. He knew how to use his voice, raising or lowering it, speeding up or slowing down, to evoke emotions in his listeners. His body language, too, was calculated. Belfort would lean in to create intimacy or stand tall to project authority. Whether his tone was calm and reassuring or urgent and intense, he always knew how to match his delivery to the needs of the moment. This nonverbal communication amplified the impact of his words, making him even more persuasive. Belfort didn't just know how to pitch, he knew how to overcome objections. In psychology, there's something called the inoculation theory, which suggests that when people are exposed to a weak version of an argument, they become more resistant to stronger versions of it later. Observation made by Maguire in 1964. Belfort used this to his advantage by predicting the objections investors might have and addressing them early. By doing so, he inoculated his prospects against doubts, making them more likely to stay on the straight path toward the close. This technique kept the conversation focused and minimized resistance. Finally, Belfort understood that people don't make decisions based purely on logic. He tapped into powerful cognitive biases, like the scarcity effect, where people perceive something as more valuable when it's limited. By creating urgency, making his clients feel as though opportunities were slipping away, he was able to push them into action. Belfort also used storytelling to manipulate emotions. Humans are wired to respond to stories, and Belfort crafted narratives that built emotional connections. His pitches weren't just about stocks. They were about dreams, possibilities, and wealth. And by making these abstract ideas feel personal and immediate, he created an irresistible pull. Jordan Belfort's rise to success and eventual fall shows us the incredible power of communication. He mastered the psychological principles of persuasion, confidence, framing, reciprocity, nonverbal cues, and emotional manipulation, all of which made him one of the most effective salesmen of his generation. But as we've seen, communication is a double-edged sword. Used ethically, these techniques can build trust, create value, and foster long-term success. Used unethically, they can manipulate, deceive, and cause harm. So what's the takeaway? It's not just about mastering the art of persuasion, it's about how you use that power. Whether you're an entrepreneur, a salesperson, or simply someone trying to improve your communication skills, always remember that true success lies in combining skill with integrity. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more content on the psychology behind business, communication, and success. Let me know in the comments what you think about Belfort's communication style. Could it be used ethically, or does it always carry a darker side? Until next time, keep learning and keep growing.